Hi everyone! It's me Aubrey again and welcome to my vlog!
Got kick.
So, kamusta man mo tanan? Okay lang ko guys. Mangutana mo,
Nadi
okay
nangutana.
Okay lang ko guys. Busy lang. Busy na next week kay exam week na daw. Final week na daw. So more on exam. Activity again. Video dito. Video dire. Or dito. Or dito. Oh! Unta makaya na ako. So karon nga video. Serious ta guys. Serious. Kay mag-share ko sa inyo og akong reflection about sa life and works niyo sa Rizal. So sa among history, one of our tasks sa finals kay basahon na mo ang essays ni Rizal which na unom ka buok. So the Filipinas dentro 100 anos, por telefono, Vision of Friar Rodriguez sobre la indolencia de los Filipinos, no limitang hera and el filibusterismo. Ano mo kung buhatan og reflection nga. In this video, I want to share my reflection to all of you. So I hope you will enjoy watching this video. And mag-start na ta. So ang pinakauna kay ang Filipinas dentro 100 anos. So, mode of reflection akong gamiton kay telescope in which I need to cite existing societal, it could be local, national, international issues. Then, I will connect it to that issue nga topic nga akong nabasa. Tapos, how this issue affect me as a student or as a youth. Why and why not, ana. So, for the information of everyone, the Philippines Century Hands, or originally known as Filipina dentro 100 anos, is an essay written by a Philippine national hero, Rizal, to forecast the future of the country within 100 years. Rizal felt that it was time to remind Spain that the circumstances that ushered in the French Revolution could have telling effect in the Philippines. Rizal is one of the most important political writings of sa Jude, kajut lang ni ha. Okay, focus back. So Rizal is one of the most important political writings of the Spanish-Philippine Reform Movement, tracing the circumstances that led to the awakening of the Filipinos and the birth of the Filipino national spirit. It discusses also the issues such as the abuse of human rights, the lack of freedom given by the press, and the lack of representation in the Spain. So human rights abuse is one of the concerns that we still face today, and it's still pervasive. Education must be geared toward the full development of the human personality as well as the reinforcement of human rights respect. Human rights are crucial because no one can thrive on their own, and injustices reduce the quality of life on personal, local, and global level. Crimes against humanity are a collection of criminal crimes committed as part of a large-scale or systematic attack against civilians. So many serious human rights violations and abuses such as murder, extermination, rape, and sexual violence, could be torture or or arbitrary deprivation of liberty, enslavement, forced disappearance, or persecution, and may be considered crimes against humanity if they meet the criteria of widespread or systematic. So as a student and as a youth, the issue of abuse in human rights become a serious illness. Become a serious issue yun siya for all of us. We need to be more vigilant enough and know self-defense, of course, when things go wrong. It could lead to trauma. It has both medical and psychological meaning. Medically, it refers to a bodily injury, wounds, or shock. And then in psychological terms, it refers to a painful emotional experience or shock, often producing lasting psychic effect. So, direct personal experience of an event involving actual or threatened deaths, serious injury, or other threat to physical injury, or di kaya nakawitness yung kag death, na nagipatay, ano mga yung anak dyan. So, to reflect it to myself, I usually have a trust issue when it comes to going alone and choosing tricycle driver, because I'm afraid that this person will do something bad to me. So as a youth, I normally go home early, and if I do, I make sure that I'm not alone, because I'm afraid that it will happen again katumpas nga nahitabo sa ako. I've been mistreated on my ride home in the past experience. So other than that, I call a friend or family member to come pick me up, and because I don't have the courage to commute. Before commuting, I usually make a judgment regarding on a driver's physical appearance. Not the face, kung gwapo ba or pangit siya, dili nga na physical appearance. Tanawon ako kung banabanawon ako ang yang edad good. So I prefer drivers in the middle age, which is 40 to 60 years old. Mas prefer na ako mga tigulang kay makastorya na ako, o brag na ako sa ligamay nga wala sila buhaton sa ako ana good, kaysa sa kaedad lang na ako ana. So that it's just my personal preferences. I understand that giving judgment is wrong, but I don't want to go through what I did with a 30-year mga edad na ako, kaedad na ako. Don't want to experience it again. So given the relationship between human rights violations and abuses and crimes, and prevention strategies must be given with the protection and promotion of fundamental human rights. This should start with the better human rights adopted and implemented by state at the national level, including laws that protect minority rights and promote inclusion. So taking action on human rights does not only mean taking the whole government to task for massive and gross violation of human rights, but also to taking small steps in concrete situation in the school, it could be in the family, it could be in the neighborhood, or in the surrounding. So we need to be more careful dyan. So next essay is the por telefono. So after reading the por telefono, I've decided the mode reflection that I will be using is microscope, in which I need to get one word or words or phrases or sentences that struck me or affected me, and what its societal or structural implications, and why or why not, and then reflect it to myself. So a word that struck or affected me after reading the por telefono is the to rule and control people. The symbolism in por telefono is so abundant. It reveals how friars or priests spent their lives and how they express gratitude to illustrators for their generosity. The friars magud sa una, they usually ruled gamit ilang position, and they even use religion good out of ruling other people. So an autocracy, as we all know, it is a government in which one individual wields absolute control. A monarchy and a dictatorship are the two basic types of the autocracies. So in monarchy, the country is ruled by king or queen. So the king or queen is the monarch in the country. So a dictatorship, on the other hand, is a form of government in which one leader has a complete authority over the lives of citizens. So if a constitution exists, that is also under the dictator's control. So we all know that law protects our general safety and also ensure our rights as a citizens against abuse by other people and by the organization and also by the government itself. We have laws to help us to provide for our general general safety. Oh my god. This exists at the local, it could be a state and a national levels and include things like law about or rights about right to vote and good. So it should not be like that to command other people to do this or that even though it is incorrect or to force other people to be like that. So you rule people according to the laws that has been established, so you should observe and know how to follow them before ruling others. So but we also have anarchy. Nobody is controlled, so nobody is controlled in or everyone is, like, depending on how you look at it. Sometimes the word anarchy is used to refer an out of control mob. When it comes to the government, anarchy when good would be a way to describe the human state of existence before any government's development. So to end this, we really have no rights jud to rule people, to rule other jud na buhaton na miska nagbali para lang jud matuman imong gustoan agad. So mo to sir guys. And next, we're down to number 3, the vision of Fray Rodriguez. So after reading the vision of Fray Rodriguez, I also decided to use the mode of reflection microscope, in which I need to get one word and then what is sectoral implication and then why or why not. So these questions has meaning and words that struck or affected me as a human being who knows it is impossible to expect perfection from beings made of clay, subject to the miseries and oppressions of earthly life. So expect perfection. Like, expecting too much perfection is a no-no for me, Jud. Like, I do expect, pareha gud anang, sa crush na ako'y crush, no? Tapos, kung mag-expect jud ko, pareha sa una, nag-expect ko nga, balik ko, kung crush na ako siya, so dapat crush po ko niya. Kung ma-expect kag inganan, kung madili jud na mahitabo, kay never jud na mahitabo, nga mga crush balik, imong crush sa imo, di ba masakitan ka? Oh, so, ayaw jud pag-expect, jud. Like, sa una sa ako, I don't know what perfection really is to me. That's why I don't really expect perfection in life, because that might give me headaches if that expectation could not be met, Jud. So, but I do expect a perfect score sometimes. Especially when I know to myself na nag-study ko og tarong, pagka man gihatag jud nako akong very best to answer the questions or kanang mga oral or mga exam, I will expect a perfect score jud. I really often do that. Pero karon ng mga past year, karon nga year, marag wala na jud. So my inner self sometimes expect too much because it believes me sa una nga that if I expect too much, example, gusto ko makapag perfect score karon, so pag ma-expect ko too much, perfect siya, so pag di siya ma-met, naro siya sa standard, ana lang good, I will get only the standard outcome, not a high one. So pag mag-expect kag high, nara ka sa standard. Kung di ka mag-expect kag high, napug ka sa baba, ana lang. So part of our problem as a species is that we problem is that na maglisod jud tag make things perfect jud. Like, nobody is perfect me jud. So we can set our minds on an extraordinary goal with the heroic sacrifices, thousands of hours of effort, many wrong turns, and periods of intense despair. We can reach the target. So we can pull off a masterwork and we can exceed all normal expectation. We can triumph and all and advance humankind. So, and unfortunately, it it appears that in many fields we're getting even better at reaching perfections. So it looks like a progress jud. Hinay-hinay makaabot jud ta, pero dili jud kay perfect jud because nobody is perfect man jud. Ana lang. So we call that modern age has from technology. It can be progress sa technology, ana, progress nimo, nag-growth ka, na nagbago sa imo sarili, ana, good progress. So, don't expect perfection, but progress. Para sa ako, it's so easy to get caught up in the idea of perfection. And before you know it, you've been spending all your time perfecting every little detail without actually getting the things done you are supposed to. Like, gusto ko perfect yun niya na, pag ko mapapadainin mo naman ng isa, gusto na din ka perfect ng isa. So, adyo kayo mabuhata na. So, I conclude that progress, not perfection, is what I should be asking myself, or what should people do, Jud. Progress, not perfection. And the next essay is the Sobre la Indolencia de los Filipinos. So I used the mode of reflection mirror, in which I need to discuss what I have read, and then is there anything that I can see sa akong nabasa? It is present or absent? What do you feel? Why or why not, Hana? So in 1890, Jose Rizal penned and published Sobre la Indolencia de los Filipinos, a social-political essay in Madrid, La Solidaridad. So it was written by Jose Rizal in reaction to accusations of inju or malay's lot. So he admits that Filipinos are lazy, but he believes that this is due to a variety of circumstances. Lazy daw ta, but it's due to a variety of circumstances. Rizal attributes it to whether a social unrest among other things. He defends Filipinos by arguing that they are not naturally lazy, and that we have been engaged in economic pursuits such as agriculture and other trading stopped even before the Spaniards arrived. So, I can picture out myself as lazy most of the time. But, yet, I'm a responsible woman. Lazy but responsible. Sabta ninyo na, ha? So, I'm trying to figure out why I'm so tired right now, because I'm trying to comprehend anong tamad man kayo karon ng mga panahon dyan. But yes, being lazy is due to a variety of circumstances. Para sa gingon ni sa result is due to variety of circumstances, such as cleaning household chores, do household chores like maghugas og plato, maglaba, mag-ana unsa pa dira, and other things. Ana jud. For example, kada kung nagdimpyo ko karon tibuok balay, naghugas ko, nagluto ko, nag-ana-ana. Tapos magpahulay ko og pagkamaninan kasi mo tamada nimo, you're so lazy, and I was like, oh no, here we go again. It does that mean nga nagpahulay ko, wala ko gibuhat, gudi pa dili pwede nagpahulay ko kay bago ko nagtrabaho gahapon, trabaho ana kamare kayo, diba? Para kay sa akong number dili jud guys, nagatrabaho jud ko guys, dili kay ko lazy, sahi lang jud ana jud. So it does not mean that just because they saw you relaxing, you accuse that person of being lazy without knowing that the person has already completed work to be done. Ana good, you can tell someone they're lazy unless you know what they've been through in life. So while being sluggish can lead to a happier, more relaxed life for me, jud, being lazy. Relax kay day. From wellness benefits to efficiency, being lazy can lead to a healthier, more relaxed existence. It allows people to focus on something and complete tasks more effectively than when they do or to try to do things multiple at once. Di jud na may tabo. Like example, trabaho ka karog dagan kaayo, kailangan ako nimo human tanaw, dili jud na ang outcome ana kay pangit kaayo. When you intentionally do less, you're at your best para sa ako. So why does my laziness hit me differently this year? Because I want to do nothing jud but sleep. Like karon para sa ako, sleep is life. Sleep all the time. Charot. Well, a lot of people also know that I am so responsible that in terms of academic activities, umana na si Aubrey ba? Umana na si Aubrey. Not knowing na that I usually make my academic activities late this. Wala kabalo ang all nga. If naay activities ka na, example, no, patagal may activities karon Monday ron, tapos deadline Friday, I usually do the task mostly jud often Thursday na. diba? Hilas kayo ang cramming dira nga side. O nga, alos tanan classmate na ako pag mag-asa ako, bumana ka ani niya pag kaman may ko wala pa di biya manuo, wow ha, kamo na lang pag ako be, piyo katikon. Wala jud, kapoy lang jud ko niya, gusto ko na isa na buhaton, pero on time ko mapasa guys, ayo kaayo, 11:59 deadline kay 12. So honestly, I was being so lazy because I did not have the energy to do the task given to me, or I didn't have any motivations na siguro in life to work harder or to study harder. To be honest, to be honest, I despise online classes, Jud. Like, I really hate online classes. I simply despise the way which I learn and the way I study. Kung sa ko mag-study karon wala, hate jud kayo na ako. It's not good for me. I know it's been 2 years since nag-start ang pandemic, but it's a significant adjustment, Jud, because I don't have the energy to study harder and reach my life in goals. Like, being lazy is a terrible habit that person should avoid, Jud. That person should avoid. My inner self constantly reminding me that being lazy for a moment isn't bad if all you want to do is rest and take a long break because you're tired. So it is acceptable. I always tell myself that don't be like that, wala kang mararating yan sa life, my God. And that's such phrases I really need it to tell it to myself like every day, Jud. I need to change for the better. I know it. I need to change for the better. Gradually reducing my days of laziness will help me become more productive every day and complete tasks and activities on time. So that's it. So next is the essay of Rizal is Noli Me Tangere. So the mode of reflection that I will be using is microscope. I need to get words or phrases that struck me or affected me and give it structural implication, why or why not. Ano lang. So Tasho, the town sage, is elated by Ibarra's plan for a school, but immediately cautions the young man and said, "The first advice that I will give you is to never come to me for advice again." So that phrase struck me differently. I would do the same if ever. because because I do honestly have a hard time giving advices to other people, especially to those people who really need an advice in a specific time or situation or problem nga ilang i-share. And here's me having a hard time to internalize because I really don't want to give advice or recommendations to anyone that could trigger the situation to escalate in a negative way or the other way around. Like, I don't want to give advice basig ma-invalidate na ako ng a person, or maybe I could make judgment out of it. That's why I do really hate giving advice to other people. So seeking and giving advice are central to effective leadership and decision making. Yet managers seldom view that it is a practical skills they can learn and improve by receiving guidance, often seen as passive consumptions of wisdom, ana. So receiving guidance is often seen as the passive consumption of wisdoms, and advising is typically treated as a matter of good judgment. You either have it for you, don't, rather than a competency to be mastered, Jude. So when the exchange is done well, people on both sides could have benefits. So those who are truly open to guidance and not just looking for validation itself develop better solutions to problems that they would have on their own. So it is really okay to give advice if that person wants an advice. So before giving advice, this day I do oftenly ask before giving us advice, like, you want me to say anything, so kan ako iingon ana, basig dili ka gusto, basig gusto lang ka maminaw ko ana, if na problema jud ako mga friends most of the time. And if the person would say yes, so you need to give advice in a most appropriate, correct as possible, as way as possible, that could lessen the burden that person is feeling or having through. But if that person would say no or nope, so that's the time na you just need to be there and listen to that person problems. Like, being there is the best way, Jude, na you can help people having a hard time, because it does not mean jud nga that if the person shares problems, it is already obliged jud na to give always advices. Remember that we people are indifferent jud. Most of other people jud just want to listen to your problems but don't want any advices. Adyo kay friend karon nga kanang example mag-rant siya sa ako, ano siya, ayaw pag-reply, isin lang, fights na, rant na siya, na isin lang po na ako siya, tapos mag-ask ko, ikaw nakay gusto ka nga nako ingon ana, yun siya dili, okay naara ko diri, yun lang, naara ko diri, if you need anything, ikaw stock lang ana, good ana lang. Kurag lang and last as I have result is the el filibusterismo. So it was different in my reflection because the mode of reflection that I will be using is telescope. I need to cite some existing local or national issues that and then connect it to the issue topic, right? Uy, lamok, grabe naman jud, di basta daon guys, dagan jud lamok guys, wala ni sa mong balay na ako sa labas guys, hamok ang sa balay, so diri ako mag video na lang. So, el filibusterismo, the reign of greed, represents the reign of greed and corruptions in the Philippines under the Spanish rule and focuses on the inevitable revolution, whether or not the Philippines should rebel peacefully and diplomatically or violently. Corrupt hurts everyone, Jud. The impact of corruption goes beyond corrupt individuals, the innocent colleagues who are implicated, or the reputation of the organization they work for. Ultimately, victorians are those who lose it. Corruption erodes that we trust public sector to act on our best interest. It also wastes our taxes or rates that have been earn mark for important community projects, meaning we have to put up with poor quality services or infrastructure, or we miss out altogether. Corruption at all levels of all societies is a behavioral consequences of power and greed. With no rule book, or corruption is covert, opportunistic, repetitive, powerful, reliant upon dominance, fear, and spoken codes. It is a significant component of the quiet violence. It's according to the IBAC, which is the Independent Broad-Based Anti-Corruption Commission. So everyone is affected by the corruption, yes. So how does this issue affect me as a student or as a young person? Poor educational outcomes are worsened by corruption. Diversion of school funding depletes resources, while nepotism and favoritism may result in the placement of incompetent teachers in classroom, or bid rigging may result in low quality of the textbooks and supplies nga kailangan gamiton sa eskwelahan. When families are forced to pay books or bribes in services, it disadvantages impoverished pupils and decreases equal access to education. That is one of the effect of the corruption, and it could be. So when we ask one of the research, when they ask Armando Lara, a tax and anti-money laundering expert, what is his impression of the Latin America after the recent corruption scandal, he was very clear that corruption made countries poorer. The economies grew, but wealth did not permit downwards. So the well-being of the population did not improve. Well, for me as a youth, maybe we could stop corruption if making a complaint or providing information to IBAC helps to identify, expose public sector's corruption and also their misconduct. Because speaking up and making a complaint helps to expose corrupt activities and risks that may otherwise remain hidden, and also keep public sector honest and transparent and accountable. And also it will help to stop dishonest practices and ensures that public sector employees act in a public interest. So that's it, everyone. Mo na to ang 6 kabok na essay nga kailangan na mabuhatan og reflection. Mo to, guys. The end, and bye bye. Always remember, I do not force people to subscribe on this channel, and I do not force other people to like or dislike or comment on this video. And bye bye. Thank you.